Okay. So, yeah, I had to turn off my TV because I had it on Netflix on. It was frozen because I was going to watch something a little bit later, and I'm going to make some pot roast for my husband, so sorry everybody. So anyways, let me get back to what I was saying. So less is more, okay? And this is where being a minimalist is more wealthy because you have more freedom, okay? Minimalism is wealthy because you have more freedom because you're not responsible for so much money. You're not responsible for so many assets. You don't live with so many people. So when people are living in a commune, they don't have as much freedom as they think they do because they're responsible for other people. Thank you, John. Okay? Because when you have people in your life, like I gave an example in one of my posts about when there are less people in your life or on this earth, let's take it to your household. Let's say you're living with 10 people versus 2 people. Who do you think has more freedom? The people that are living together, 2 people, but not the 10-person commune, because they're all trying to be responsible for each other. They have to make sure that they're okay. They have to make sure they're fed, that they have all the needs met and everything. And so that actually constrains your freedom. It puts a strain on your freedom. And then somebody may not be pulling their weight. Then you have to go and figure out how do you deal with someone that's not pulling their weight. Okay, so let's say they get sick and now they can only work 50%. Well, then you try to find something within that community that will give them, that will make them pull 50% of the weight instead of 100%. But you need everybody in your community to basically work 100%. You can't afford to have somebody working 50%. Well, imagine, times that by millions and billions of people who are working at 20% their capacity of somebody else's 100%. And you're like, dude, what the hell? And then then diverts resources to make sure they're taken care of. You see what I'm saying? So, less is more, meaning that, yeah, when you have less stuff, less money, yes, not where you have no money because you want to be able to feed yourself, but you don't want to accumulate so much to where, yeah, now you're like, okay, now you have to go and guard your stuff, and then you have to make more money to buy more security measures. For me, I like not having a lot of stuff. My husband likes to accumulate stuff that he likes to accumulate, and then he does what he does with it. I'm just like I'm a minimalist. I'm happy with my computer, my bed, my clothes, some food, the internet, and maybe some heat. But I don't need a big house. I can live in a small house, somewhere obscure, where I don't have to deal with too many people all the time. And I'm happy, being just an individual, not worrying about somebody else or what their needs are or how they're doing all the time. I mean, I want to know how people are doing in my life that I love, but I don't want to be constantly wondering, are you doing okay? Are you doing okay? Because if you have to ask that, then obviously they're not doing okay because they have to always be checked in on. Okay? So imagine now with what's going on with the mass therapeutics. See, this is a Republican conservative's dream. Okay? Someone who wants to have everyone pulling their weight. They don't want to give away free stuff. They want nobody feeling entitled. Okay? The mass therapeutics, the virus is a Republican's dream. If you don't recognize this by now, those of you who are more conservative than not, then you're lost. You're getting diverted by the conversations and they're turning you into an actual liberal. I'm telling you, there is so much irony going on right now as far as our current events and with the therapeutics campaigns that are going on right now. There's so much irony going on with all the rhetoric on Capitol Hill. But when you actually sit down and think about it and get off your soapbox for a minute and you look at the Jilly Juice is going to give you the freedom to give you the freedom. Okay? Jilly Juice is going to give you the freedom to give your society the freedom. And here's the thing. It's not going to happen overnight where you're going to experience the freedom of less is more. first of all, you have to debrainwash or whatever, reprogram yourself into not feeling like you have to accumulate everything, that you have to hoard everything, whether it's hoarding food or hoarding money or hoarding material goods. You have to deprogram from that. And then you're going to have to basically understand that, yes, Biden is he's opening the borders, yes, because we know this virus and the mass therapeutics are going to take out a lot of the workforce, and we need to replenish. People aren't, not everybody's going to be reproducing just like that because they're going to be passing away prematurely or be rendering, um, sterile. And so you have to bring in immigrants to be able to replace the workforce because we still need people to go and tend to the sanitation, to go in and farm or pick, crops, to, pick up your garbage, to make sure that, buildings are being painted or drywalled or landscaped. How many people who are sick can really want to do those jobs or be janitors in companies and huge companies? How many people in America who are just like, oh God, that doesn't pay enough or it's beneath me, so I'm just going to collect my unemployment. And so they bring in the immigrants who want to do that. There's a reason behind all this. You got to realize this. And so no matter what your feelings are regarding the left and the right and all that stuff, there's so much more that you don't even know that you just got to sit back and just do the J juice and just mind your own business. Because there's a whole lot of layers that have already been thought of that you hadn't even think of yet, because you're so used to, like we take things for granted. We're so used to having our garbage done. We're so used to walking into a building like BMV and whatever and getting our driver's license done. But you don't know that there's someone that maybe from another country or that's okay with paid like, $15 an hour as minimum wage to go and clean up the place afterwards, or the people behind the scenes delivering or maintaining the machines to make your driver's license. I mean, there's factories that go and process your meat. How many people, like, I wouldn't want to work in a meat factory. Oh, hell no. But somebody would who has that stomach to work in a meat factory, to be a butcher. So, I have no problem with allowing, if my workforce is disappearing because of mass therapeutics, I have no problem with paying someone from another country who's been naturalized through immigration the proper way to go and do that for me. I would be happy to have them part of my world, because we have a huge population that is very weak and sick, that is going to succumb to the mass therapeutics and the mass virus that are mutating as we speak. Okay, I went out last night just very calm, and I felt very tired this morning. I was sweating last night. Even when I was sitting with, hanging out, I was sweating. This stuff is very contagious. A weak person wouldn't be able to handle. I want to be out there, not all the time, but like maybe once a week, go out there in the public so I can get the newest thing on the market that's in the air, so to speak. Because I need to adapt. I can't be holed up in my house 24/7 and then one day I'll go out to the world with a bunch of people and all of a sudden we hit. That's why that's why they're pushing the mass therapeutics, because some people cannot handle that kind of viral load. But humans want to go and hang out with other humans, but you have to be able to handle the interaction, which means that you have to be able to handle the air that holds the virus. Okay? And so that's why there's such an issue with not having I'm not going to say the word, enough mass therapeutics. And so people are feeling like they're stuck at home. They're too afraid to go to the grocery store. They're too afraid to go hang out with people because they know that they can't handle. They can't handle, right, Christina, the environment. So I'm not really upset with what's going on. Even though, yeah, there's 7 billion people on this planet, and if they were all balanced, we could all live on this planet symbiotically and peacefully. If 7 billion people on this planet were totally balanced, were pulling their weight, were contributing to the progressive thinking of influencing our society in a much more advanced way, hey, We wouldn't need to have, there would be no need for government, there would be no need for the medical system or the holistic system or politics, religion, or science. No one would turn to something outside of themselves to find escape or find a way to justify or to rationalize why things are. But the reason why we do have politics, religion, and science and the medical holistic system is because we have 7 billion people who are imbalanced that cannot live symbiotically together, constantly at war with each other, constantly in, separating themselves from each other, constantly bucking the system. And so at some point the system is going to get tired of all of that. Okay? And so this is why we have these balancing mechanisms like the mass therapeutics and like the virus. I'm sure we could handle more than 7 billion, but right now at this point, Mother Nature is going to be like, here's the thing, Christina. When somebody is constantly reproducing, they're coming from a deficit. When you're coming from a deficit, you better have somebody right there correcting those deficits as the person is growing up. If not, and we don't have enough manpower to look after 7 billion people who are reproducing on a constant basis to make sure that every single one of those offspring is being balanced correctly throughout their whole lifetime. So there's no way that you could have more than 7 billion people balanced, because you would have to have the manpower to make sure that every single mother was taking care of their body, mind, and spirit correctly, and make sure that offspring would have those corrected anomalies that cause them to be reproduced to begin with. So there would be no scenario that more than 7 billion people balanced. We can't even have 7 billion people balanced, much less more than 7 billion. So this is why we have this mass therapeutics and why we have this virus that we can't be upset about. Like seriously, you can't be upset about this, Christina Morris, or anyone out there, because everyone chooses. Nobody is lying to anybody. There is no, mean agenda. Everyone makes their choices. And if they see your information, Christina, and they still don't want to do it, don't ram it down their throat. Don't be like, I can't tell you don't, but you don't want to undermine your healing process to make sure that this person over here, who you don't even know in some other country, does a J juice. Maybe they were meant to be flushed away. Just like, in the biblical days, not everyone was meant to survive the flood. You can't make somebody get on your boat if they don't want to. Are you going to risk your life to make somebody else do something they don't want to do because you think they should do it? No. So you let them do what was meant to be done. And you have no, not say commitment, no expectation. You take care of you and yours. You realize that less is more. And the mass therapeutics and all the things that are going on it's going to constrain right now your freedoms right now, because you have 7 billion people that you have to watch out for. When you release a virus, however it's been released, and you have the mass therapeutics, then there has to be an organized way of the decline. It can't be just a chaotic decline. So there's even an organized decline of the population. And that's what's going on, is an organized decline of the population to where we can have more freedom. We can have a less is more scenario. And we have everyone pulling their weight in some way, shape, or form. And then that's when people down the road are going to be doing some kind of survey on themselves. What are they doing to contribute to the environment? What are they doing to contribute to society? Are they more of a strain on society, or are they pulling their weight? And I think everyone on the Jilly Juice is pulling their weight because they're giving everyone an opportunity of this information to be able to figure out how to become a productive member who is balanced, not draining the system of resources, whether it's through all their verbal diarrhea causing people to react and be stupid, or bucking the system and insulting your officials and being, a jackass. Are we as Jilly Juicers really, contributing to the system? And some of us are, and some of us are not. But I think anyone that promotes Jilly Juice is you are pulling your weight because you're giving somebody an opportunity to be a productive member of society who is balanced. And that right there speaks volumes about people, that who glom onto me. Even though people talk smack, they're still giving people a choice. So even they are actually contributing. The ones that laugh at my posts, on my business page, and the ones that share my posts to all their friends are like incredulous that someone even has a thought process like this. Oh, they're pulling their weight too because they're giving everyone a choice to listen to me, to see if I have some kind of sense because maybe it might reach somebody in their world that at first wanted to laugh at some crazy person in Ohio, but then realized maybe she has some credibility to what she's saying. Okay, so the whole thing with the J-Juice is you would be able to handle the environment. Okay? Yes, you're going to feel your evolution. You're going to feel tired. Like right now, since I am pretty much healed and sealed, any new variant that I get exposed to, I'm going to feel tired and poop and blow my nose. Those are the only symptoms at this point where I'm at is what I'm experiencing when it comes to new variants in the environment. I get a little snarky, like I have to blow my nose. I get mucus that I gotta blow my nose. I gotta poop. I'll sweat, and that's it. I sweated last night, and then someone was saying, "Oh, you got menopause." I'm like, okay, I don't even argue anymore when people think that, "Oh yeah, you have menopause. You're nearing that age." What am I gonna say? What am I gonna argue with them and say, "No, actually, it's this." But I'm not. There's no point. They've chosen their path, so I don't have to worry about them anymore. They know about Jilly Juice. If they want to listen on my information and get my book, the current one or the next one that comes out, that's fine. But actually, I have no expectation that anyone in my world gets it. I just, I just do what I do. And then I realized that yes, the Democrats are actually helping. Biden is actually helping the conservatives. You realize that, right? Biden is helping you because only the strong will survive. The strong are going to be the ones to handle the mass therapeutics and the viruses in the environment. The weak, who aren't really contributing anyways, they're really weak, which I know it sounds kind of cold, but it's true. But those are the ones that are stopping you from having your freedom. The ones that are not contributing, the ones that they can't take care of themselves. They are actually they're stagnating you from freedom. How many of you are taking care of people in your home or that you feel responsible for in a nursing home? And so now you really can't do things. You can't go out and hang out because you got to be home to take care of that other person. Do you realize how hard it is for someone in a relationship where one person is sick all the time, the other person isn't? They're feeling like that person is like a dead weight. And that's why there's a lot of divorces too, because one person is still healthy, the other person is declining, and they don't want to deal with that declining energy because that one person that's healthy and strong doesn't want to feel like they're dying too. So you have to understand what is going on here in a very large picture. Take it down to your house. How many people feel like that they're responsible for their parents? I got lucky that my parents already have things figured out for them and they have their sisters and brothers who are their age because it's like, not that I wouldn't take care of them, but we don't have that kind of relationship. I try to give my parents the J-Juice. I tried. They're just like, nope, you're stupid. Nope, nope, nope. It's not part of the whole college curriculum. Nope, 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 nope. Okay, fine. I walk away. You know why I walk away? Because I not because they don't want to do it. I mean, yeah, part of me is just like, okay, not that, but we'd never really had the relationship. It was something that was very one-sided. And so I had to walk away from the energy that wasn't serving me. Okay? And part of me is like kind of glad in a way because I know they'll be taken care of. They already have things set in place and they have other family and I don't have to watch them decline. Because you know how hard it is to watch somebody decline? I have never had to watch anyone decline and really become so decrepit and so helpless to where I had to make choices to bring in, government agencies or bring in help because I couldn't do it. I'm sure I'll be faced with that in the future at some point if people in my world don't do it, which is a possibility, but I'll be stronger and I'll be able to handle it, and I'm expecting it. Okay? So that's what I'm saying, is that yes, Biden is helping the conservatives in such a big way that they don't even know it because they're too lost in the fucking rhetoric. Do the jilly juice, you guys. Do the freaking jilly juice and be the one to be strong. Whether you're Democrat or Republican, it doesn't even matter. Whether you're a Tory or that other party, John, right? Both parties need to do the J juice and realize that each president is giving you a gift that you don't realize because you're too lost in the little arguments that are being put out there by those that are in fear, that don't understand the bigger picture, and they don't have the value of jelly juice because they don't want to do it. But I'm telling you, less is more. But in the process, it's going to be, yeah, you're going to have to chill out. You're going to have to just deal with the fact that, you're going to have surveillance on you, because people are cracking up. People are really seriously cracking up. But it was like a forced evolution. When you're doing the J juice, like when you're doing just salt water, okay, or you're doing all the detoxes, and you have the Herxheimer syndrome, and you're not doing the jelly juice, you're going to have all these symptoms. Your body's going like, oh my God, there's detoxing, and it's also trying to evolve, but since you haven't healed and sealed, it's just cannibalizing itself, and so you feel all these crazy ways, and that's how they justify detoxing in the holistic world. Well, that's the same thing that's going on right now with this virus and the mass therapeutics. They're causing people to Herxheimer, and then they're acting out. And then you have the law enforcement to go in and take you away. Because obviously you couldn't handle your evolution because you haven't been supported correctly. With the J juice, you'll go through an evolution and you'll feel relatively the same symptoms, but it will be short-lived, and you'll be able to handle it, and you'll move on to the next thing until one day when you are where I'm at, where you just get exposed to, viruses, and it's only tiredness and mucus and you needing to poop. That's where I think, everyone needs to shoot for. Where you're not feeling body pains and organ pains and system pains. But that's those that are not evolved when they're exposed to viruses and therapeutics. They're going to feel every single way. Well, that's your body trying to evolve. Now you have to support it correctly. So this is another perspective everyone must understand when it comes to the Georgia Guidestones. The Georgia Guidestones is not bad. It's not incorrect. It's just giving you finally the freedom that you're looking for, but it's going to take a minute. Freedom isn't free. Freedom is not free. Okay? And once you realize that when you don't have to take care of a declining individual individually in your world versus billions and millions of people out there, you know how much freedom you'll have? You know how much fresh air you'll breathe? You know how much safety you have when you don't have people down the street shooting at each other because they have imbalances? So, Christina Morris, I want you to understand, nobody's evil out there, Christina. I want you to see the different side of this, Christina Morris. There is nobody evil. Nobody is lying to anybody. They're being very upfront. Sacramento Bee said, yes, one person passed away from getting a mass therapeutic. You see what's going on here. They're letting you know. It won't matter whether you get the mass therapeutic or you're exposed to a virus. If you don't have what it takes, something's going to happen. You're not going to be able to handle it. And guess what? That's one less person you have to take care of, Christina. That's one less person you have to worry about when you're walking down the street wondering if someone's going to jump out at you. Okay? Those on the jury just have to understand the middle ground. Not everything is nefarious as you think it is. It's only nefarious because you have battles inside that you're still fighting that you haven't resolved yet. And so you think there's still an enemy out there. There is no enemy. It's just Mother Nature and balance. Nobody's lying to anybody. Look at the package inserts of all the different mass therapeutics. Nobody is lying to anybody. No one's trying to keep anything from you. It's all there up front. Okay? So we need to dispense with all the theatrics and all of the emotions around what's going on and realize that you can't control people who don't really care about their body, mind, and spirit. You can't control them. And no, again, nobody is lying to anybody. And this earth needs to have more balanced people. But remember, when you're constantly reproducing, there is no balance because reproduction comes from imbalances. Because the body senses there is something awry going on and it needs to mitigate against extinction. And that's why people get fertile. Okay? So, that's all I'm going to say for now. But I really want to impress upon those in my Jilly Juice world that nothing nefarious is going on. Just sit back and enjoy the show because it is a show that you can't control, but you can control you and your world. All right. Bye.